Here's the time. This is what you guys have been waiting for. This is what you tuned in for. The inaugural run of Larry Wheels. First attempt in any strongman competition. Larry, you ready? Alex, you ready? Competitors, set.
So I had the pleasure of starting this competition out and going head-to-head against Larry Wheels. This was his first event and his first strongman contest. And considering he's never done it before, he still had a target on his back as the guy to beat. This is new for me as far as being a better event. I spent a lot of years working on foot speed and it started to pay off. I ended up winning this event with just over 17 seconds, and Larry was damn fast. You see right there, he slipped trying to catch me. And it's just a newbie mistake. Ode's really strict about drops. That's not normal. Most contests he would have gotten a 2-second slide penalty. But this one hurt him. He should have taken second or third right behind me. It was pretty close between Victor Beebe, Jose Baez, and myself. We all got in 17 seconds. Unfortunately, this dropped Larry to like 12th out of 16 guys. I think he ended up having to drop that score. But in the future, he's going to be nasty, man. He was fast. You know, it's over 600 pounds, and without any training, he moved pretty quick. So we move on to the overhead press medley. That's a 200-pound Mouser block, and we go right into a 275 axle clean and press. These are speed bumps. I mean, this didn't give really any of the competitive guys trouble. It was really just a speed bump to get to the log where you know, it was advertised 280 pounds. Even here, I think John's announcing it as 286. If you add it up, it's 316. I don't know if that was a mistake or intentional. 180-pound log, yellow 15-kilo plates, a 25 and a 10, comes out to 316. I could not balance for shit. You see right here, I don't even try to press it again. I kept rocking back on my heels. I don't know if it was the Expo haul that was disorienting or if it was the extra weight. My last warm-up was a 220. And I was anticipating a 280, so the weight probably played a factor. Right here, I mean, Larry's just charging through it. I cut it, but he's at about 40 seconds when he gets to the log. He spent way too much time just gingerly getting through each implement so he didn't make a mistake. And right as he presses his fourth rep right here, they call time. He probably could have done 5 more and had an easy win. Unfortunately, he didn't have anybody there kind of coaching him through, telling him, you know, go faster, get on it. So Jose had the benefit of being last to go, and you know, he's experienced. He's strong, but he's experienced. So he hit 4 easy reps, has so much time left, he can drop the log, re-clean it, get a 5th rep. You know, Jose's a very strong overhead presser, but he's experienced. He knew how to work the minute time limit. A little side note, they did this event by subdivisions. So usually it goes by reverse order of how you place. So if you win an event, you go last on the next one. Well, I was in the 265s. Larry was in the 300s, Jose was a super heavyweight. So we always went in that order. So Jose had kind of an inherent advantage. I'm not really sure that played a huge role, but it certainly was somewhat of a factor. That actually plays a big factor on an event like this. I mean, a squat for reps, that's pain tolerance. That's who can dig in and grind it out more. So if you go last and you know you have to get that extra rep, you get that extra rep. So this was a good event for me. I have short legs and I squat, I squat frequently, whereas a lot of strongmen don't, especially for reps. Martin's was brutal. You see him leaning in here, you know, making sure everybody gets their reps. He actually pulled my first rep, and I had to come at him afterwards with a video and say, yeah, I think it was low enough. He ended up crediting it back to me. So I pushed through 17 here. I think I racked it maybe with 8 or 10 seconds left. Gun to my head, could I have gotten another 1 or 2? Maybe. But this is actually the hardest I've worked on a squat in the last few years. I usually don't grind reps. I usually don't go to failure. I do a lot of volume and always leave reps in the tank. So right here, I really feel my posterior kicking in. I mean, I felt those in my back, which is new to me. But you see me shaking my head. I'm like, get this thing the fuck off me. But, you know, the guys before me got 5 reps, 8 reps. So 17, I thought, you know, that's the best I could do at that moment. So Larry comes in. Here's a guy that squats 900 pounds in sleeves, and he's moving very gingerly, making sure he breaks parallel. I actually wasn't sure what he was going to get here. Obviously, he's one of the strongest squatters in the world, but you never know what somebody's capacity is like until you actually put them to the test. He was talking about his video where he hit the 500 for 25, And his own words, he said if he had to take it to this depth, he thinks he only could have gotten 17 or 18 reps. So I was actually surprised here. You see the pain starting to set in, and I think he racked it with a little bit of time left. He was hurting, you know what I mean? But it's probably a different threshold that he's not used to training, and that's something that improves very quick. So we end up tying here at 17. You see his girls screaming for him to get a few more, and he's like, nah, son, I'm done. Larry was very complimentary. I mean, it was surprising. After a couple events, he asked me what my numbers were. He's like, oh, man, you must have an 800-pound squat. And I kind of laughed. I'm like, nah, man, I got short legs, and I do a lot of reps. Like, bro, it's all smoke and mirrors. But he was very easy to talk to, very complimentary person. So here's Victor BB, I don't know. And this guy, long legs, obviously very hip-dominant squatter. He got a rep or two taken away because they were blatantly high, and then just started slamming them into the bottom. Impressive technique. I think he actually beat everybody. I think he did 19, but only got credit for 18 or 19, only got credit for 17. And then Jose comes in, and Jose's kind of the most well-rounded guy because he's a strong squatter. I believe in sleeves he's in the mid 700s. But he's trained strongman, so he does a lot of capacity work. He does a lot of rep work. He's not new to getting under some weight and just suffering. So here he's just digging them out. He's keeping the pace. And this is the benefit of going last. So regardless of how the event before this went, he won, so he deserved to go last. But every event he went last as a super heavyweight. So this is an event where that's a big advantage because he knew the number to beat was 17. And you see him here just digging in, and he's not leaving this event until he gets his fucking 18 reps. So John comes up, shows him the time, and he's just digging. Now, the thing is, even condition for strongman, Jose's a big guy. He hit the ground after this, and he was down for a good, minute or two. He gets a little wobbly. The guys have to come in. But, dude, he earned that win. I mean, he dug where nobody else did. For some reason, squatting has become less popular among strongman, and I'm not really sure why. There was a big spread between us and everyone else. I think one other guy got like 14, and then the rest were just single digits. I always maintain squatting carries over to everything, so that's why I do it so much. So here's the mass wrestling compilation. Long story short, Morgan Hill just ran over everybody. There you see him throwing Larry Wheels like he's a rag doll, ripping the stick away from Jonathan Booker and Jose Baez, all large people, all strong people, and all people with really good grips. I sat it out because mass wrestling is the most taxing, and I'm bad at it, so, wanted to save myself a trip to urgent care. I really don't care for it anyways. It never pops up in strongman contests. Ode Haugen just puts it in all of his shows. So here's the infamous tire flip event. Now, this bad boy said to have weighed 1,100 pounds. Probably doesn't, but it was still a big bitch. Jacob Finnerty said he got 27 reps last year in this man-on-man. He went against Martins Lisis, and they just went for broke with their 10-second rest. Well, because the women got so many damn reps, they got like 37 or so, we didn't have time to have everybody do that. So they dropped it to a 5-second interval. You see all the guys running around. Nobody knows where they're supposed to stand. By the time Mike Gillert calls, go, people don't even have their hands on the tire. So there were a good amount of people that, like right here, had a rep that was going over, and they come in and say, oh no, that didn't count. It was kind of a bullshit event. Only 3 guys got flips that counted. There were a lot more guys that could have gotten flips if it was a reasonable time limit. But Morgan trains on this tire. He trains at the training hall, and he's tall as shit, which helps him quite a bit. I felt real bad for Larry. He got a flip even with his new setup. He's not used to flipping tires. But right as it went over, they called time. I sat this out because I have a bad history with tire flips. That's what tore my bicep a couple years ago, and I haven't really trained it since. So, a really, really heavy tire. Haven't been training it. I just opted to sit it out and not risk it. And I'm kind of happy I did. If I did get the tire over and they called time as it was going over, that would have soured my weekend. It's hard to feel like they're not screwing with you when they make such blatantly bad decisions. So right here, Jose misses out on a second flip. He got one. Fernando, who trains with us, got one. And then Morgan, they're screaming at him to stop because he won, and he doesn't care because, he's a good tire flipper. He wants to put an exclamation point on it. So, good for him. He barreled through the mass wrestling. He won the tire flip. You know, there's some things he's not very good at. There's some things he's very, very good at, and those are a couple of them. I really cut the double overhand short because it's boring to watch. I just thought I'd throw in Larry's 440 deadlift. In the warm-ups, I asked him the most he did, and his reply was the 365 he had done a minute before. So something he doesn't train. You know, just people underestimate what it takes to hold on to a 900-pound deadlift. So all those strapless powerlifting-style deadlifts obviously paid off. His grip is insane. So going into the Viking Press, another event I knew would be good for me. I have short arms, I have really good leg drive, and this is something we actually practiced with a setup we did in the squat rack. I actually made a video, check it out, how to set up a Viking press. Clipping away, it's a rep fest. At this point, I just went until my triceps gave out. The last rep was the last rep. There was no gutting it out. I've worked so much on making this a very efficient movement that when I'm done, I'm done. There's no other tricks in the tool bag. So right here I get 20, and you see Martine's he's looking for millimeters in knee bend, and I wasn't aware of this. I don't think they actually said anything about it in rules about how strict they were going to be. I push press, and I only push press, so I was really shocked when he took 2 of my reps away. A little irritated, actually, but it is what it is. Here Larry has his wheels down. Larry has his heels down, so he's just jamming his knees right to lockout, so he had no issues with this. And because his upper body's so strong, he didn't need to rely on his legs that much anyways. I mean, dude, right here, he just powers through 24 reps. I think everybody was pretty sure this was going to be a win for him. I mean, statically one of the strongest upper bodies in the world right now. And, it honestly was just an honor to get within a foot of that performance. I mean, I got 20 and got 2 pulled away. He got credit for his 24. Now this is Fernando Rodriguez, again, one of our guys. He's brand new. He has a background as a thrower, actually. He threw at the junior college level. He has kind of that sloppy college Olympic lifting background, which turns out carries over to Strongman very well. And he had a real good technique here. His feet were far away. You see as he jumps, he leans back, uses his upper chest more, and then pushes himself forward. He put on a show. He's spitting and screaming here. He's digging. He's going till the fucking wheels fall off. I was super proud of him. It hurt my ego a little bit. He beat me by a rep here, and he didn't have any knee issues, so he got credit for all his reps. Very, very proud. I mean, Fernando's a big boy. He's 6'4", 340 pounds. Pretty athletic. He ran with an 830 yoke his first time getting under it. I mean, he's got a bright future. So I hope he sticks around. We're all doing California Strongman prep after this, and I think it'll be a good event for him. So, expect to see more from this kid in the future. So then Jose comes in. Now this actually hurt my heart more than anything, more than the 2 reps I missed out on, because those 2 reps probably dropped me a few places. I think 3 or 4 places. A couple of guys snuck in, got 18 and 19 reps, which moved me down a place or 2. Jose, I knew, had a strong upper body. I think we're comparable in overhead press. He's a much stronger strict presser, I believe, but I think my leg drive is a little more efficient. And again, I have T-Rex arms, so that plays an edge. Jose dug here, man. He got 20 solid reps, and you see Martine's just looking for any soft knees. It would have been a completely different story if beforehand they said, oh yeah, if your knees are soft when your heels hit, you don't get a rep. But they did not. So Jose powers through, puts on an amazing performance. 20 reps, should have tied me for 3rd place, right behind Fernando. And they took 5 reps away from him. So it's just one of those things. So like I said, there's a tie with Victor and Derek Cox at 19 reps. I got credit for 18 and tied with Leif Paulson.
Get those crazy guys going. He's in, he's locked in. I can see him ready to go. Competitor, set, go.
Now this was probably the most disappointing of all of the runs we did. I trained my ass off on this event. I'm usually horrible with a sandbag. I'm usually only kind of good with a yoke. So I worked a lot on foot speed with that weight, transition time, running back, getting that bag into position. And I made sure that I wasn't going to leave anything on the table. So right here you see as I pick it up, it's low. See how it's completely covering my belt? I worked so hard on carrying that thing higher so I could load it on one pass. And when it came down to it, I just threw my hands over the top, didn't reposition. And this maneuver right here, I mean, it saved my run from being a disaster, but that cost me an extra 5 seconds. I think I was a second behind Jose in a time split as far as the time to get the bag to the crossbar. I just wasted a bunch of time having to sit down and regrip. So Larry's going right now. He's being real cautious with his foot speed. I mean, it's smart on his part. You know, it's more disastrous if he drops it from trying to go too fast. You know, his loss in the Farmers was probably in the back of his head. He runs back, and the dude has good foot speed, like he really does. So being relatively new to these types of implements, he did not hesitate. He got one hand over it, hooked it, threw it over his shoulder. This was the maneuver that made all the difference. You see how much faster you can move with it on your shoulder, and you can just heave it right over the bar. That saves so much time. Even with that speed, he came right under me. I want to say around 34 seconds, something like that. And then here's Jose putting it all together. Again, the experience. So he's faster with the yoke. We have about a similar yoke run. Jogs back, gets in place, and he knows what he's about to do. He knows how much time he's going to make up. Again, hooks it, throws it over his shoulder. And this was the event right here. I mean, blew everyone away. Derek Cox was in second place with 32 seconds, and he hit 28 flat. I mean, that's lightning fast. At that, to beat that, you just got to flat out sprint with the yoke. So Larry ends up winning the event. He takes 2 points behind Jose Baez. Really, that came down to not dropping the farmer walk, going a little bit faster in the overhead medley, or just getting a flip in the tire flip. If he had done any one of those things, that would have been his contest. That's not to take anything away from Jose. Jose deserved his win. I knew ahead of time he was the guy to beat, but that's really to show for Larry that he really has all the tools he needs. I mean, his contest really came down to a slow yoke run and poor transition time. Those are easy fixes. That's a little bit of practice, a little better contest prep. You know, those are the things that are going to be at the back of his mind the next time he competes. I actually think he's going to do better at pro level shows where he's more directly rewarded for the absolute strength that he has, where everything isn't just fast, precise, and very, very high rep. So I think he did great. I think he has all the tools to go right to the world stage. Whether he's going to stick around in Strongman Corp, I just got the email today, and he was CC'd in it where he got his invite to Nationals. I don't know if he's going to go to Nationals. If I was him, I wouldn't fuck around with Nationals. I would do everything I could to go straight to either one of the international Arnolds, maybe a Giants Live contest. I'm sure he could find it in those. But, whether he sticks around with Strongman Corp or goes straight to the top, we'll see. But he's going to do big things. Victor Beebe and Morgan Hill ended up tying for third, which Morgan surprised me. I mean, he was a sleeper on mass wrestling. He was a sleeper on the tire flip. His yoke run was pretty good as well. So, he sucked out a tie for third. I think he ended up giving Victor the edge. I think Morgan got fourth place. And, hopefully he tightens up some things, improves his motor abilities, improves his static strength. He could do some nasty things. He's got the frame for it. I don't know where I place. They don't have an overall score sheet. They have us ranked in the subdivisions, but not the overall. So I know I took outside of the podium. I took like 12th in the double overhand axle deadlift, and I couldn't drop that because I had already sat out the tire in mass wrestling. So those were my two events. I knew that was going to hurt me. I don't really care about grip events that much. I'm slowly working on getting them better. But this is the first show where I was as strong as the strong guys and as fast as the fast guys. So it just makes me, if nothing else, really hopeful for the rest of the year. So I'm going to keep growing. I'm going to keep working on my weaknesses. Right now it's pretty much grip strength and static strength. And then more event-specific training. And I'm going to see what happens the rest of the year. I want to show a little highlight reel. One of the most things I'm proud of is how far Laura has come. This is my beautiful girlfriend. I got her into Strongman. Actually, I got her lifting. That's how I met her, actually. She came to Empire Barbell for training, and I exploited my position as a coach and trainer to seduce her. And it's been a blessing. It's one of the things we have in common is that we can train and compete together. And she's just come so damn far. I mean, this is her first competition as a lightweight. She had a really tough cut down to 140, but she made it through. I mean, statically, she was a lot stronger than the other girls. Her squat and bench are both comfortably in the low 300s. Sorry, squat and deadlift. She's a very strong overhead presser, has a very strong grip, and she just worked her ass off. I mean, she just flew with that yoke. So I really couldn't be more proud of the effort she put in today. And, we're going to be at Nationals this year. And there she is with Haugen.